This week was huge. One of the biggest things I realised is that Evergreen had systems in that really weren't earning their place. So I made a fairly brutal call to completely remove farming from the game. The whole thing, crop seeds, the whole soil prep states, everything. I think it was just trying to make the game something that it wasn't. The more I sat with it, the more I felt like Evergreen works better and leans into surviving in the forest, foraging, hunting, pushing deeper, rather than tending to little crop fields at the camp. This is where I came up with a major distinction. The player cannot progress in the clearing. They can only make progress in the forest. This was one thing that I always found that when I played games like Minecraft, I used to always find myself procrastinating or just sitting in the comfort zone. So this game is going to force you outside of your comfort zone. And honestly, removing the farming system was the whole direction that I wanted it to go. Combat was the other big thing this week. After the playtest feedback, I started redesigning it from the ground up because it wasn't feeling very good. Before, the stamina blocked attacks. You'd swing a few times and then suddenly you were standing there just being butchered by this boar. It didn't feel great. So now you can always attack. But if you spam attacks, they're weak. Timing your hits properly rewards you with stronger attacks instead. It doesn't sound like much on paper, but it feels completely different when you're actually playing the game. It's way more active, more deliberate, more dynamic. And once I added the new dash and dodge system using the old stamina bar, combat started to feel a hell of a lot better. You can reposition, get out of trouble, play a bit more aggressively. I spent a good bit of time just tweaking timings, testing it, adjusting numbers, trying to find that line where it feels fair without becoming annoying. When that felt good, I added a bit of polish to the dash, added some visuals, sound effects so it actually feels satisfying to use. Outside of combat, I started putting more focus into the onboarding of players without turning the game into a tutorial simulator. Things like introducing food and healing mechanics more naturally instead of just throwing walls of text at the player. I also added a little cinematic intro sequence to the first few seconds of the game, which honestly just makes it look 10/10. And then probably the most underrated thing that I did this week was I made some music. Or at least I attempted to. I downloaded Reaper despite knowing absolutely nothing about music theory and somehow managed to put together Evergreen's first piece of music. It actually feels really fun and slightly painful, but mostly because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and I can definitely see myself getting into it more. I finished the week polishing some of the progression stuff too. The fallen tree and the boulder gate are feeling a lot cleaner now, and I reworked the torch situation in the ancient grove. Before the demo, I completely disabled the crude torch there because it technically wasn't strong enough, but it just looked broken. So now it still works, but just very bad. It's a tiny radius, you're barely able to see anything. It feels way better. Bit of a weird week, lots of deleting things, rebuilding systems, figuring out what Evergreen actually wants to be. We're slowly getting there. And that's it for this week. If you'd like to follow along with this journey, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next devlog. Thank you for watching.